The qualities of an architectural space begin to be set by the basic patterns of linear and planar elements that define its volume, and the variety of openings that serve to connect the space to its context. From within a space, we see only the surface of a wall. It is this thin layer of material that forms the vertical boundary of the space. No spatial or visual continuity is possible with adjacent spaces without openings in the enclosing planes of a spatial field. Windows allow daylight to penetrate the space and illuminate the surfaces of a room, offer views to the exterior, establish relationships with adjacent spaces, and provide for natural ventilation. Doorways offer entry into a room and influence the patterns of movement and use within it. Openings lying wholly within the enclosing planes of a space do not weaken the edge definition nor the sense of closure of the space. Multiple openings may be clustered to form a unified composition within a plane, or be staggered or dispersed to create visual movement along the surface of the plane. As an opening within a plane increases in size, it will at some point cease to be a figure within an enclosing field and become, instead, a positive element in itself. A horizontal opening that extends across a wall plane begins to visually lift the ceiling plane from the wall planes and give it a feeling of lightness. A window wall admits more daylight, offers more expansive views, and visually expands the space beyond its physical boundaries. Openings located along the edges of the enclosing planes of a space visually weaken the corners of the volume. As these openings increase in number and size, the space loses its sense of enclosure and begins to merge with the adjacent spaces. Locating a linear skylight along the edge where a wall and ceiling plane meet allows daylight to wash the surface of the wall, illuminate it, and enhance the brightness of the space. Combining a window wall with a large skylight overhead obscures the boundaries between inside and outside. The radiant energy of light reveals the shape, colors, and textures of forms in space. Penetrating a space through windows in a wall plane, or through skylights in the overhead roof plane, the radiant energy of the sun falls upon the surfaces within the room, enlivens their colors, and reveals their textures. With the shifting patterns of light, shade, and shadows that it creates, the sun animates the space of the room and articulates the forms within it. The color and brilliance of sunlight can create a festive atmosphere within a room, or a more diffuse daylight can instill within it a somber mood. Direct sunlight creates sharp patterns of light and dark on the surfaces of a room, and crisply articulates the forms within the space. The shape of an opening is reflected in the shadow pattern cast by sunlight on the forms and surfaces of the room. The color and texture of these forms and surfaces, in turn, affect their reflectivity and the ambient light level within the space. Possible detrimental effects of direct sunlight, such as glare and excessive heat gain, can be controlled by shading devices built into the form of the opening. Glare can be induced if an excessive degree of contrast exists between the brightness of openings and the darker surrounding surfaces. Even though forms may be hidden from or out of view, their shadows can reveal their shape. Window and skylight openings provide views and establish a visual relationship between a room and its surroundings. A small opening can reveal a close-up detail or frame a view so that we see it as a painting on a wall. A group of windows can be sequenced to fragment a scene and encourage movement within a space. A long, narrow opening, whether vertical or horizontal, can not only separate two planes, but also hint at what lies beyond. As an opening expands, it opens a room up to a broad vista. The large scene can dominate a space or serve as a backdrop for the activities within it. A window can be located such that a specific view can be seen from only one position in a room. A bay window can project a person into a scene. If large enough, the projected space can become an alcove able to be occupied.